Hello everybody. So I've been asked by a couple of people to do a drawing tutorial, and so I decided to draw something, and I consider myself pretty decent at drawing eyes, like human eyes, so I decided to do a tutorial on that. First things first, you'll need a few materials. Pencil, make sure it's sharpened. It doesn't have to be super sharp because you're just going to get it dull again. And a good eraser too, because I make a lot of mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes all the time. So, and then this little thing, it smudges things. It's shadowing things. If you don't use that, you can draw a scribble on the page. Very easy, and this, do the same thing, take that, you smudge it. This is a lot more detailed than that, but whatever works for you. Eyes, they are not like a round shape, they're more oval, and it's like a flattened oval or something. And so if you want to be a perfectionist about it, you can be, but I'm not, so yeah. Anyway, so, if you do want to be a perfectionist, then draw like a long cross, sort of like that, like that, and then just kind of connect the lines from here to here, so, you know, like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, I'm just doing it like this because it's fast. Something like that over on the other side. So you can see the eye shape, and then erasers come in handy. Hey, and we're just gonna erase it. Now don't be afraid to move the paper around because it's in your way. All right, eyes. So we have our. This is a basic eye. I'm not gonna get too detailed with it. So you draw a line from here to here, and you just curve it. So, like that, and then you do it the same thing from here to here. So you just curve it, kind of like that. You can already see how the eye shape is forming. And then we do a circle about here. And, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but, you know, try to get it as round as you can. Okay. So once you have that, you're just going to color in the eye. I mean, you don't have to do this step next, but so color that in. Pretty dark, like the whole thing is going to be a consistent color of a consistent shade of whatever color you use. Black usually. It doesn't have to be perfect. And usually, since you're drawing eyes small, they don't have to be this detailed, but if you're drawing them big, they can be a little more detailed. Alright, good enough. And then, since we're gonna do, this looks a little weird, see how it's like got a corner there? We're just gonna smooth it out a little bit. Notice how I get quiet when I'm trying to focus. Okay. Okay, so then we make like a little lip, I guess you would say, against the eye because your eyelashes don't quite go up. Top one more even. And now we have a pretty decent looking eye. The iris can be bigger or smaller depending on what you're drawing. See right here, this would be the dilated pupil. place that however you want it. If you want it to be bigger, you can. Or if it's uncentered, you know, just fix it. Okay. So then we are gonna do just kind of this area is right here, just kind of like it's got weird things in it. And then we draw another little lip on the top of the eye. And that sort of turn the paper as needed. If you're left-handed, you can turn it this way. If you're right-handed, you can turn it the other way. So then we're gonna do like a shiny spot in the eye because eye is 3D and there's like, you know, little shine spots. See, as my fingernail has a shine spot, so we're gonna put a shine spot in the eye right up here. You can put it really anywhere, but you know, I choose to put it here. You can kind of just put it over like this. It doesn't have to be ginormous, but whatever. And just erase anything inside because the inside needs to be pretty white for the most part. Okay, and then now with the eye, if you notice, if you look at a picture of an eye, it's not completely like brown or blue. If you look really close, there's like some darker spots and lighter spots, and if you have like bluish greenish eyes, there's like both blue and green, and it's pretty interesting. So we're gonna try and put a little bit of that in. Okay, so the way the design is kind of it's really interesting. So it's kind of like a bunch of these little lines, and then they do it a whole bunch of times. So it's very concentrated like that. And so when you want it to be darker in a more concentrated area, you're just going to do a ton of them. Or if you want it to be lighter, you're just going to do a few of them. So we did a whole bunch over here. It would look a little darker than over here. And we're still going to shade it in. It's just going to be a little longer. So I'm going to fast forward this. Okay, so done with this for the most part. But so notice how I completely avoided this little spot right here because that's a shiny spot and there's nothing there. So when we're coloring this in, we're not actually coloring it in because this picture's in black and white, but we're just gonna kind of shade it lightly, and around this area, since we want this to stick out like a sore thumb, we're gonna pretty much shade around it very darkly, like almost as dark as the pupil. Maybe not quite as dark, but for the most part it's gonna be dark. So from like here to here is gonna be pretty dark. So I'll color that in darkly. And then you can have different spots be lighter and different spots be darker, but there's one part that looks really cool if it's darker is kind of like around this area. So if you make this area just a little darker than the rest of it, and then when you color it, you're gonna color it from the center to the outside. Same with doing these little squiggly lines, just to make it a little more even. So let me do that. Alright, so I kind of did a little bit of shading, sorry, kind of around here to transition this dark spot from the lighter spot. Just a little bit of transition, and then I did the rest of this. Now this looks, I mean, pretty good from far away, but you know, you look up close and it just looks like a bunch of scribbles. So we're gonna take this little thing, which is wonderful. If you don't have one of these, you can use your finger, or you can, which is a little, definitely not as detailed as this, or you can use like a tissue that covers your finger or something, but this is very detailed, so we're gonna kind of get in there a little bit. So we're just gonna, it gets onto the tip of this thing. You can see that. See the ink, the pencil gets onto the tip of this. So we're just kind of gonna cover up all these white spots with this little thingy. I don't even know what they call it. And just scribble in there and see how that's a lot smoother now. Pretty much gonna do that with the whole eye. Trying to avoid this little space right here because it's supposed to be, you know, sticking out like a thumb. So just kind of gonna do that very quickly, just going around that. And I did say earlier trying to go out away from the eye, but I figured out that it looks just fine the other way as well, so you can really do it however you want. So we're gonna get in there and just do the whole thing. This area, since I was trying to transition from this color to a lighter color, is gonna be really important to do. Do it from this side and then just go that way. Whatever. So kind of go out like that and see how it gives it a lot smoother of a transition. Alright, and so just did the whole thing. This one looks better if you go this way, but I guess it doesn't really matter in the end. So that's a pretty basic eye now. Eyelashes are a little tough. So, and usually I only do small ones, so it doesn't matter too much, but if you do want eyelashes, I use, the type of eyelash that I use is usually has like makeup on it, so it's going to be thicker, so you're going to kind of draw up like this, and then draw down. Okay, so that's like a bunch of eyelashes. It's not just one, because it's so thick, and you're just going to kind of do that, and it gets bigger, but I don't have enough room here, so it's okay. And you know, it gets bigger as it gets towards the end of the eye, and then it kind of dies down just a little bit. So kind of like that. If you want them bigger, you can adjust them and stuff, because you're just going to color them in anyways, so not a big deal. So, you know, if you want another eyelash in there, you can throw it in there. Not too big of a deal. They're going to be looking at the eye more than the eyelashes, so you just color those in right now if you wanted to. And then you can color in this thingy, this little thingy that left for coloring in, just for the purpose of coloring it in. Just color those in. At the very end, you can pause the video if you're running behind. No problem. Just finish the rest of this, why not? So that's top eyelash. Bottom eyelashes aren't going to be definitely not as big, and you're not going to start way up here. You're going to start about halfway down to where the iris kind of goes down in between the two sides. And you're just going to go out and up and then down with a sharp spike, not a soft one. Kind of like that. And they don't get quite as big as the top ones, so actually they're not big. That's okay. Oh well. I'm not very good at drawing bottom eyelashes. If you don't like one, you can erase it. Yay, that's what an eraser is for. This is why I don't use them. And then you just color them in. Don't have to be perfect. I'm not good at the eyelashes. Okay? Kind of just color it in. And put the little eyeliner on, sort of. Most part, you have an eye. Again, getting a little more detailed, we use this thing again. An eye isn't perfectly white, so we're just gonna do a little bit of shading at the edges here, because it's a circle eye, not a flat eye. And just gonna turn it and just shade Now, if you want to make it creepy, add some veins, but this isn't a creepy eye, so I'm not going to do that. And so then this is a left eye, so the nose would be over here. Don't have a big enough piece of paper to make a nose, but I can always guess where the nose is. Probably like right there-ish. Yeah, kind of comes out like that, so. And if you were going to shade this, if it was a lot smaller, it'd be easier to shade. That's why we're not really shading it now, but it'd be shaded where the shading would come in through. Oh, just knocked that thing off the table. The shading would come in through here, kind of just making that little shadow right there, and a little bit more underneath the eye, kind of like that. You know, you can make a line here if you want to, a line on top for the eyelid, and then more shading. Shading looks amazing everywhere, so. And then the eyebrow would be like up here, actually it'd be a little higher. Up there, sort of, but that's the eye. Pretty simple.